Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are live. It is Michelle M. Trey Hollis and Alexa Rose Henderson. We are live for the WhollyShift Wednesday. Welcome, everyone. We've got yet another YouTube channel. We are hooking it up with a dedicated YouTube channel so that you can subscribe and you can just always know where to go every Wednesday. Welcome, Michelle. How are you, beautiful?
I am doing great. Am I coming in live and direct?
Yeah, girl, in color, Technicolor, all that. We both got this kind of like punk rock, kind of this vibrant thing going on.
We decided to be like casual cool today. You know, we're kind of TLC, which goes with the whole conversation. Crazy, sexy, cool. Crazy, sexy, cool today.
It's been one of those days. It's been one of those days. Oh, babe, yes, tell me all about it. I know you've been having a lot of shifts and maneuvers in your life, and myself as well, unexpected, but yeah.
Well, I figured that a good way to start today is to kind of just set the tone, because you know we believe in sound around here and being of sound mind, body, and spirit. So we're going to set the tone for our first broadcast on the WhollyShift YouTube channel. It's a creative lounge, and I am. You want me to start with what I had to say?
Yes, girl. Yes, girl.
It was your original. Follow up with the strong boom. You hit them with the boom, boom, bap.
You get them with the treble, I'll get them with the bass, or vice versa. Sounds great.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so basically, and this is what I love about the WhollyShift. The WhollyShift is a sacred space where Alexa and I, who we really have really believe to be partners in rise, as we have been going up and through our ascension, our transcending the old and coming into the new ways of being, and which is really it's a fresh way of being, but it's really closer to our authentic way of being, our true way of being. So it ain't really brand new. It's just feeling ourselves back again, if you will.
Might be new to you, though. Might be new to each of us. Not brand new, but it feels new, right?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. It feels new, but it feels like home at the same time. And so, so we came together because we felt like that we wanted this to be, we see this and we understand this to be a sacred space, a creative lounge experience where we'll have guest speakers, DJs, thought leaders, visual artists who can truly shine. And this is just a great platform to really be able to integrate a lot of those, the audio and the visual in just such a great way, and really be able to reach audiences all around the world. And so this will be a place where we will all be able to share our creative offerings and high definition insights. And we get to shift through engaging experiences, and we can be more excited for it. So that is the intro to the intro. And I'd love everyone to hear how you feel about this space.
Oh my gosh. Oh man, when I think about the WhollyShift, thank you, Michelle. And thank you for being the originator of this vibrant idea and this vibrant space. And so when I think of the creative shift, it's a talk show, yes, but more than that, it's an event and it's an experience. And so we're literally inviting our viewers in. We will even have you on our show if you're a fan and you have something beautiful going on. Like, we want to highlight the good things. We want to highlight the momentum that people are creating in their lives through transformation, through spirituality, through healing, right? And through conscious creation. Like, we are stepping into being conscious creators more and more here. And, we want to share that. We want to share those tools because we're noticing that it's so much easier as entrepreneurs, as creatives, to create the impact, to create the experience that we're looking to cause for ourselves and for the world when we are in alignment with certain spiritual, conscious, truths, I guess you could say, as we've been on this path. It's also a space. So basically what we do here, we're pushing the edge of human consciousness and higher consciousness, the human experience, the leading edge, if you will, if we've got our Abraham Hicks lovers out there, followers.
Right.
Yeah. We love to share the activations and the upgrades that we're experiencing in our lives and learning more about. And we also invite anyone out there who's got some beautiful knowledge and wisdom to share as well.
Absolutely.
We are also engaging, as Michelle mentioned, visionary leaders and creators and entrepreneurs. So this is a co-creative space, and we want to be getting downloads and wisdom from other leaders who are out there on the leading edge and creating magic and really tapping into things that are working for them in their lives and in their business. And then also, this is a space, this is real important because this is actually sort of the foundation of what created the WhollyShift Creative Lounge, is that it's a space for supporting through recovery and addiction.
Yes.
Yeah, and the path of transformation, because if we're alive, like we're working through some layer of addiction, addiction to anger, addiction to, you know, there's so many forms that addiction takes. It's really anything that's taking us off the path to total fulfillment. And so, so that's really like what we want to create here, what we are creating. And it's really, you know, the idea and the intention is that this just becomes like more and more of a creative space and a joyful experience that has you activated and clarified on what's possible for you. And, you know, that we really build this tribe of conscious creators and leaders out there.
Absolutely. And I love just this whole experience. You know, we are so excited to be walking through it together and sharing it with all of you all. Like, that's what's really the neat part, because if anything, we are hoping that we can inspire everyone, that everyone gets to go if they choose, you know, that the main thing is that, you know, and especially for creatives, especially for people who have been outspoken or different or colorful, who want to live a bigger life, but really didn't have exactly the role models in their life, you know, to exactly guide them. You know, what it's been my experience that's been a big point of contention for a lot of people that I've known with addiction, you know, that have been suffering through addiction, is that they were not as guided and embraced in their creativity and their originality, in their bright and fat, quick and unique way of thinking.
Yeah.
And so what's happened is, you know, and it's a pain. So what the addiction has become a coping mechanism for pain. So we are here to, you know, we really created the WhollyShift Creative Lounge to allow for that the coming up of the pain, you know, of some of the things. Now, of course, you know, we always advocate for all of the team. You know, everyone gets to have a whole team, therapists, doctors, you know what I'm saying?
Sure. For
things
sure.
like that.
Yeah, unfortunately, just a talk show alone probably isn't going to solve all the problems. But we're pretty good though. Maybe come back soon. We may have like a
you know, you know, the shamans didn't have to get a certificate. You know what I'm saying? They just went through it. But what this really is though, is at least know that you're not alone. Know that it doesn't make you weak to be going through these challenges, to be feeling separate, or, you know, to be feeling like disconnected. But this is where we want to have a place for you to come and be connected. To gotta get yourself connected. The writing's on the wall. I don't know if you remember that song, but
I think I do. I do.
I know.
Vaguely, but I'm like, I think so. Hey, I'm going to pin both of us so that we're both being spotlit at the same time. Because I think either way, you know, we've got one of us broadcasting.
No, it is doing
the
that.
other one isn't. Yeah.
Oh, it's not. Are you looking at the actual YouTube?
No. Because it was doing that, wasn't it? Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
No, that's okay.
Sorry about that. Whoops. All right. Cool. I'll remove my. There we go. We're good.
Are you sure? Okay.
I think so. Okay.
Hey, you know what?
There. Thanks.
But what I love about our juxtaposition, I love that I love the colors that you're wearing and the colors that you are, and then your pictures in the background are kind of like opposite of me.
So complimentary. So
Yes,
complimentary. I
so
love it.
perfect. So perfect. But anyhow, so just to round out that whole conversation, you know, the Holy Shift is where it's for everyone. The Holy Shift is a holy shift, WHOLLY. It is for everyone, and it is for all of us, all of ourselves, and all of us.
All of it.
I think that's a good one. That's maybe.
I think that's so good. I feel like that's the most concise we've ever gotten it down to. Like, hey, progress, not perfection, right? Like
that's right.
There's an evolution. There is an evolution here, folks. Yeah, I think it's beautiful. I think we should also speak into the choice of the Holy Shift. And, you know, because it's so clever and it really works on like so many different levels. And I think it would be awesome to just like speak into that.
Okay, fantastic. So before we do that, would you like for me to play one of my songs?
Oh my gosh, please. Absolutely.
And it goes perfect, of course, with the conversational piece. And this song is called Turn. And so I'm going to start.
Wait, I'm sorry. TURD?
No, turn.
Thank you. I was like, girl, we were talking about how it was a crazy day, but I wasn't expecting it to go that
we're
far.
We're just going to start this shit off right, okay? We're starting.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Well, and we like to have fun here, so this is a totally like over the top.
And I wanted to, before I do that, I have to get emo on my co-host Alexa, because I just want to acknowledge you, because we did have, today has been one of those. It's been a little frustrating, a triggering day, is how you put it. And it's really, I'm grateful to have someone like you who, you know, we can still get together and still just flow through it and just get here. You know, it's not about like blame, you know, it's not about looking at what's going wrong. It's just about going forward. And that's a blessing. So thank you for being who you are.
Oh, likewise. Likewise. And I'm excited to hear this song. Turn. 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 This is your song. This, just to be clear,
this is one of my songs.
This is an original Michelle M. Hollis vision board music. Awesome.
Yes. Okay. And you know, it's so funny. It's actually called Time.
Nice.
It's actually called Time, not Turn. But you'll hear why I said that. Here, let's see. Let me make sure it's coming in clear. Turn. There is a season. Turn. Do you hear it? I do it again. I do it again. So close, yet so far away.
Better.
Okay. Far away from where I feel I am today. So I continue to search, struggle, and fight to find my way to where I know I feel I am today. Find out where the time goes and where it's now in a minute. I'm trying to find out where the time goes. Every second, every minute. It seems like every time I stop to think about it, I find myself without it. It's not enough, but is it ever? Because I could not live without it. Do I have enough to share my hope and make my dreams a reality? Because everything I dream to take up so real to me. So can it really be a dream? Or is it only what it seems? Or is it only what it seems? I guess the dream is but life, and life is but a dream. Or is it only what it seems? I take my time and make my dreams reality. Cause it is what it means to me, yeah.
on and on like the thoughts that I put into this rhyme. I know in time that I'll find my peace and find all my time. I know I'll find my peace of mind in all due time. Cause to everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. As time keeps passing on and I keep pushing on, I'm closer to where I belong. I just don't want to be wrong. In spite of all my wins, in spite of all my sins, I'll do it again. Right down to the last bit.
Nice, nice. That's
And
so
you know what?
great.
I should have, hold on. I should have thought that through and told everyone to close their eyes, because that's definitely one, it's definitely one of those like take you there. But guess what? You'll be able to watch it later. It's a great meditation song.
It's so great. So I want to, can I ask a couple questions or just speak into what I heard? So number one, I know that you had performed the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, I believe, is like the entire album. And it's so clear to me why, because you have such a similar thing going on with your voice and your style. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And also, it's partial, like that song was interesting because there were parts of it that it definitely like pull you into a song that has the similar theme. And then you just like went all off on your own creative venture. And how cool is that? And actually how it sounded very complicated, like very complex to produce that.
Yeah, that's I'm glad that you said that. Yeah, that was definitely, it was a song that was about, let me stop the computer share. I don't know if that's, or the sound share. What that song is about, yeah, it's about the complexities of life. So there were different parts where I'm just singing kind of just like in a dreamy state. And then there's like the alarm sound, time to wake up and smell the coffee or smell the roses or lead the way like Moses. You know, so there was a lot of different, different elements of emotion. And I always like to call myself a songstress because I'm like an actress with music.
Nice. I love it. Yeah. I mean, definitely an artist. There's a lot of twists and turns in there that like didn't even happen until about halfway through the song. And then I was like, oh, wow, another, you know, like we're going in this direction now. It's so cool. We should talk sometime soon about your like the creative process. And because I think it's so intuitive and it's so different for each person. But it's so interesting to think about that and to share more about that. But I love that. Thank you so much. And so what about that song? Because I know we had talked about doing a song earlier. And you were like, I've got the perfect one. So what about that song spoke into, you know, our topic tonight for you?
Well, because we're talking, you were just asking me like the Holy Shift, you know, how I came up with the Holy Shift. And that song is called Time because it's all about the time that we, you know, have. It's all about the life that we're living, and the time is everything. And that the Holy Shift is being conscious. It's the conscious living, you know, it's really being and putting our whole selves and our whole heart into life. And so I always loved that song because I start out with a verse from the Bible, but it's also a song verse that everyone is very familiar with, the Beatles, to everything, turn, 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 there's a season. And that's how life is. That is part of the Holy Shift, is that it's a very much, it's cyclical. It's not a linear process. And the more that we can embrace all of the lessons and really take heed to them and really step into the right choice that we all always have, you know, then that's our opportunity to wholly shift in the energy and to change our timeline. So that's why I chose that song. But I do acknowledge that I should have had everyone go into more of a space of like thoughtfulness, but I was just so excited to I was so excited to play a song. I just wasn't thinking.
Kids in the candy shop. Kids in the candy shop.
Yes, yeah.
It's good. It's great. Yeah, no, I think it's perfect. I mean, yeah, feel free, everyone out there. Like Michelle and I are avid advocates of meditation and really taking your time with experiences. So if you want to go back and have that experience, that would be awesome. And and there's always the present moment to tap into. So I mean, whatever you opened up for viewers and listeners, I'm sure it's more so, it's so wild how the more in tune you become with your experience and yourself and your rhythms and your wisdom, that like each moment becomes a symphony of experiences as you're able to drop into and get out of your thinking mind and back into the wisdom of your body and your heart. And I think that's been a really, like, I knew intuitively as I was getting into the path of meditation, years ago, right? But really when I started to take it on super, like seriously, committedly a couple of years ago, I was by no means there. I was still very caught in my head. I mean, I think I shared with you that like I went to a Joe Dispenza advanced course retreat, and like literally people were having like out of the body experiences, interdimensional experiences, and I was basically there meditating for like 5, 6, 7 hours at a time, just like fighting with my mind the entire time. I was like, and that's where my meditation's getting me right now, right. Like, but like it kind of
that
takes
would be annoying though.
Oh my God,
that must have been frustrating.
Oh my God, I was like that's actually when I went, not that long after, I was like, I think I might need to get sober. Like there's way too much mental activity going on here, like way too much. So
it was it ended up being a powerful catalyst.
It was totally a holy shift. It was totally a holy shift. And a lot of the times I think it takes that to really try and ease yourself your way to surrender, to be like, okay, this is clearly not working at this point.
Yes. That's such a beautiful, that's so powerful. I want to amplify that, everyone, what you just said. Like sometimes just because sometimes it's not, first of all, sometimes it's not the big crescendo moment that you're not going to see you're not going to see Kali, the goddess of death and death and new beginnings, come towards you and tell you to stop doing, you're not going to have a Saul moment in the middle of the road necessarily when God turns you into Paul. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily going to be that big moment. You know what I'm saying? It just may be the subtle nudge. It may just be, you could have that moment, but you're still doing this.
Yeah, totally. Oh my gosh, with 1,000 little paper cuts that you're just like, you know what? I just can't do this anymore. I mean, that's like how my transformation felt. It was just like, like it's just not, it's not like anyone, it's not like, I've been blessed. Like I really have not had that many people pass away in my life. Even when I've had like addicts in my life, like nobody's ever passed away. So I've never had that like kick in the chest where it's been like something just horrible, like a horrible car crash, or you hear people's stories of transformation and you're like, whoa, that was like a white lightning experience. It was more so these experiences of just like, wow, I feel like I'm putting in the time, the work and the energy, and I'm just like not getting it back. And it's because my mind was so in control. And so since there has finally been this shift into like way less use of the mind and much more dropping into the body, it's so interesting to see how much wisdom there is in our bodies. It can be this like bizarre dualistic experience, because it's like, the mind is like the way to like higher consciousness, but it's so much more than the mind. It feels like it's like really like the whole ecosystem of the body, of the spirit, of the intellect. Like it's all has to be yoked together in order to really create that ascending experience.
I would love to know more about, because let me say, I would love to know more about what do you think made you seek a deeper meaning and experience? Because I think that it's a beautiful thing, and I would love to invite you to count your blessings, and the blessing to be able to show up and really spend this time with family before losing them and having that experience is a blessing. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of addicts don't get that, you know, and so the fact that you are getting that, you, like you're saying, your transformation has come before that, that's a blessing. And what a gift, you know. Definitely, you know, hold tight and make the most of those moments. And we all get to now, you know what I'm saying? We all, with every, you know, I've lost my father, I've lost a lot of people actually. And it's just you know, I'm present now enough to allow it to keep me showing up more powerfully with the people that are here, you know, and really appreciating it. But I would like to know, what do you think started you in that direction? Because that's what this whole day is about why the Holy Shift.
Why the Holy Shift? Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Yeah. Why the path of transformation? Why the path of recovery?
Yeah.
Why I do this work in the first place? Yeah. I mean, I really feel like for me, I was born into a family that was so conscious in certain respects, right? There were plenty of things that were fairly dysfunctional, but conscious in the way that my parents were seekers. And so we grew up in a really, non-conventional style of household. And also, like, my parents weren't, like, by the time I was born, they were really like not together. So I had like separate households, and they were amicable with each other, but they were not together since I was a kid. But there was a lot of meditation. So from very, you know, like childbirth, I was born at a house instead of at a hospital. Yeah, I had a home birth. Like, we had some like hippie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I think this out of the box thinking, and like, you know, my mom's an acupuncturist and my dad was into the healing arts and stuff. So this was just sort of like the milieu that I was born into.
Okay.
So from a very early age, I was tuned into meditation and enlightenment and all that sort of stuff, which is super awesome. And at a very early age, I was very, you know, as we say, addicts tend to be very emotional and intuitive and feeling, right, and smart. And so I can remember at 3 years of age, like being disillusioned with like the way that things were. Like,
what?
Like 3, like with my mom, with with my dad and my mom, and just like overly fearful of things that just like, I just did not feel like life was safe. And I also was like very disappointed in my parents, actually.
Jeez. Yo, the old soul came through like, no.
I was like,
this is not what I ordered.
I was like, there's a higher possibility here, guys. There is a higher possibility.
That's powerful though, man. It doesn't surprise me either. Little Alexa being all smart. Being like, no.
I was all stressed out, man. I had like all kinds of, I used to have to sleep.
But it's because of your sensitivity.
I was super sensitive and, you know, and like, and listen, like I say these things, but like my parents are my favorite, like some of my favorite people.
Of course.
They're amazing. And they, you know, we've healed a lot of stuff, but yeah. So anyhow, it was a blessing. And I think just through being overly conscious and also seeing a higher possibility for things and things maybe not going as smoothly or as desirable, shall we say, as you know, I always saw what was possible, and then I saw what was occurring, and it was like, you know, not awesome, right? So
it was not awesome.
It was not awesome. Nope.
Right.
And you know, so I took it to heart as any like budding addict does. And you know, by 10, I was like getting D's in school and like not wanting to go to school. Like I asked to be homeschooled at that point. So anyhow, it was just like, it was a rocky road. Like I was restless, irritable, and discontent from far back. And then of course, like once I got into early adulthood and college and stuff, it was just like, it was all masked by alcohol for the most part for me, you know, and marijuana, right? Like I never did like super hard drugs or whatever, but I also started a path of recovery pretty early in my 20s. So I was sort of like right at that place where I was like, this is not working anymore. So we're either going to like up the ante here.
Yeah.
Or luckily the universe, luckily the universe stepped in and like had somebody who was the right person to be like, hey,
Yeah.
you want to check out another path. So that was like the beginning of recovery for me. But
Wow.
anyhow, so it was kind of it was ingrained in me. And yeah, and so and it's been since early 20s till now that I've actually found like the thing that feels like it's finally moving progress forward. Whereas before I felt like I literally was just like, that's when most of the painful stuff happened, was just being like, dude, I feel like I've committed myself to this path of transformation, but I am not ascending.
Yeah.
Like maybe slowly, right? But not like what I knew was possible. So
yeah. So kind of like, it almost sounds like what I'm hearing you say is that there was a big question of like, is it even worth it? Like, is it even worth it? You know what I mean? Like, what is it all? What the meaning?
Yeah. Thank you for illuminating. Yeah, it was very disillusioning. Very disillusioning. Yeah. And also I knew enough to know that it was coming back to me. I was like, dude, there's something that I'm messing up in this whole equation. Like it's actually my fault and I'm really pissed about it. So,
Right. So wow. So
super
that's so powerful.
Yeah. What about you, Lovely? I have something tells me we've got a little bit different paths on the way to recovery.
Yeah, definitely not the same path at all. I feel like I was pretty, you know what? I was disillusioned by some things that happened when I was growing up, but it wasn't really ever exactly anything that happened to me, which is interesting. And a lot of things I didn't really realize were happening until I was an adult. And then I realized that all of it was intuitive of me knowing, but not really knowing, so there was a lot of drinking. Drinking and drugs has always been a part of my life in some way, shape, fashion, or form, by somebody, whether it was my uncle, my aunts, or when I moved to be with my dad. My dad wasn't a part of my life until later on. And
so we kind of have that in common. We had this sort of like separate households going on. I mean, my dad was always a part of my life, but it was sort of like this separate experience with my mom and my dad. So
well, my dad was just like completely absent till I was about 13.
Wow.
And then he had a big epiphany because he had a heart attack and he had a heart attack or a stroke. One of the two. He's had both.
Yeah.
But and he wanted us to come visit. But it was like a situation where I didn't really feel like I missed him growing up, you know what I mean? Because we're so much alike. He's been the Music Man. Hollis was his name. So he's where I get all my music, my music and, my extrovert personality from.
Awesome.
So he called for us when I was going into high school, and me and my sister went to spend the it's kind of right. We went to spend the summer, and after we got off the plane, and I was singing one of the songs on the radio, he turns down the radio like Joe Jackson. I was like, wait, sing that again. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, so I sing it. Next thing you know, we're in me, my sister, my cousin, and a friend have a group called Mystique.
Oh, okay.
We're like performing everywhere, and
you had a girl band? Oh my God, that's amazing.
No, it was actually a girl guy band. It was me and my sister and my cousin Emmett and his friend Lionel.
Oh my God, how fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. So then Dad wanted us to move there. So then we moved there. But so here we are, two teenagers, and here he is, a complete party animal.
My goodness, yeah.
Bringing it to, it could totally be a sitcom or like a new age sitcom. It would be a great.
Wow.
Like I've got at least 5 HBO specials. I got 5 HBO hit series in my life.
Yeah, you do. I mean, come on, your life is just a reality TV show. Eventually, soon, you are going to have a camera crew following you around. I'm pretty sure. Okay,
it would surprise me.
Yeah, me
neither. But you know what? That's how everybody's life is, really. Everybody's life has the opportunity. I mean,
Yes.
has the opportunity to be that. It's
Yep.
just, I just always seeked out the most exciting experience I could possibly muster up. That's the only difference. I shoved my way into a lot of experiences, and then became
like, I'm here. Yeah.
I mean, truly, and I think awesome. I did get that from my dad. I got that because my dad, although I was like that even here in El Paso, I've always been creative writing, I've always been theatrical, I've always been in choir. So it's always been all of those things. But how we get to the Holy Shift is that, I ended up getting to know my dad, but he was a party animal. He was a drug addict and dealer.
Wow.
And so, and he was not nearly as strict as my mom and my,
no kidding. He probably wanted y'all to party with him. That's why I invited you down. Right? It's like, we were making him, it's gonna be good times. Good times. We'll cut some albums.
We were making him look good because he was having us go sing everywhere,
Nice.
But he was such a great person. I mean, he was such a great person because when I got real savage and real, when I started going to raves and I got real and then I got addicted to drugs and things, and I had the freedom to, he gave me the freedom to expand, which just a couple of years ago, my mom was like, I regret ever letting you guys go. And I can understand her viewpoint.
For sure. Could you imagine as a mom? It's like your worst nightmare. Right?
Yeah. She's like, I think I made the biggest mistake. But I said, Mom, please. I said, don't ever feel guilty for that, because giving me the gift of knowing my father and that side of the family, that I know, and it was hard for her to decide, but she said, I don't want you. She told us, I'm going to let you go. Because at first she said no, but then she said, I don't want you to ever blame me for not because we were singing and stuff. And she's like, I don't want you to ever blame me for not letting you do that. And so, and I'm like, you really gave us the biggest gift, because he's passed away and gone since 2012. And that was just such a big gift. Like me knowing who I am is so important, and I recognize not everyone gets to get that come back together later in life with a absent mother or father or whatnot. So, I've always taken it as a blessing, but I have an addictive personality because that's running my family. It's been a generational curse. So to speed up this long story, the long story short is that it's been a generational curse, drugs and alcohol, and heavy drugs, heavy alcohol. Yeah. And a lot of social, all my family's just always been a very social family, but my father's father died from drinking too much. My dad died from too many drugs and alcohol. And he continues to come back, and he's come back into my life in the spiritual realm to help me break the generational curse. And recently he got with Michael Jackson to do so. So, I'm like, it must be important.
When your dad and Michael Jackson show up in your subconscious reality and give you downloads, I mean, you kind of got to pay attention, I think.
You got to pay attention. But the Holy Shift, exactly. The reason I chose the Holy Shift word is because one day, as I've been, choosing sobriety, but it's a frustrating, it's a work. It's work. Yeah,
for sure.
It's not, I know we make it look nice and exciting and pretty and fun. And it is fun, and it's work, because all it takes is 10 minutes to just have to make a choice sometimes when you're going through some shit. You know what I mean? That's when you call your sponsor, you call somebody, and you get with it.
You get the shift. You get the shift.
That's when you get the shift. Because what happened was I had dropped the fork, and I because I was, trying to get stuff done and stuff was falling over. I dropped the fork and I was like, I said, shit, I said, and I'm like so irritated. And then I stopped, and it was like the Eckhart Tolle moment where I'm going, why am I I'm hearing like a bigger, higher self come in and go, why are you so upset? You dropped a fork. Why are you so upset?
That was like the moment where it's like, this doesn't even make any sense. And it's time to do something new.
Yeah. I'm like, what the heck? And I'm like, why would you and then it came to me, that's why they call it a curse word, because by being that upset, putting that much energy into saying that 4-letter word, because I dropped a fork. I am binding myself to this energy right now in this experience. And then then I'm thinking, gosh, okay, that's why they call it curse words. So then I go, well, what if I said shift instead? Nice. Then if I say shift, then it will remind me to shift out of that energy.
Yeah. Love it.
And then I thought, holy shift. And then I thought, holy, like WHOLLY. And I thought, what if I could wholly shift everything? Is everything like that?
Wow.
Maybe that's why maybe the holy shift is the way to go. So that's how we got the holy shift.
So good. And I really do, you know, now when I go to say a curse word or whatever, and oftentimes I'll just say it, but there is that moment where I'm like, shift. It is so good. It's so much better to say shift. It just feels energetically different. It's like, okay, how do you just like how do you take that energy that's going in one way and just like, you know, like ninja style it, like a Tai Chi, you know what I mean? It's like you take the energy coming at you and you just Tai Chi it like in the direction that you actually want it to go, where it actually serves you, versus taking it in like a, you know, that's been a lot of my work that I've been doing in the last like couple months, this, you know, through this evolution of consciousness, really. Is instead of, you know, because even though I had done so much work around raising my energy and intent, having powerful intentions, and maybe even getting to deep places in my meditation practice where I'm like feeling very high vibe, very connected to the quantum, whatever. Then you have then you come back to your day-to-day stuff. And that's kind of what was going on today, was that I was just like, damn, I'm really triggered by some stuff. Like I was taking things like harpoons instead of being able to like Tai Chi it on. And like, how
did you get out of it?
I don't even know that. I mean, I definitely did some additional, like, I did my best in the moment. Like that's the thing. I think that conscious contact with a higher power. There was so long that I was like diagnosing the things that weren't working and feeling like I had to go in and like, it's like, okay, I got to tweak this mindset thing, because it's, you know, I'm still getting triggered or whatever, but it's like, it's been the more that I can really like offer it up to something, a power greater than myself, you know, and I'm not, you know, I'm not foolproof at that, but it definitely feels better than it did like a couple of weeks ago. And more, that's been like, okay, cool. This energy is here. Also, if the energy is there, it's like it is a piece of awareness to notice like, okay, what is trying to be communicated right now? Like I'm triggered right now. So my ego, which is like really here to keep me safe and make sure that like I don't die, right? If it's triggered or whatever, then that means that there is like something that can be looked at deeper. And you know, do I always take the time to like journal and like figure out what that is during the day? Maybe not, but more so I'm trying to sort of like take a moment, pause and reflect and be like, all right, cool. This is what's coming up for me. Here's actually what's underneath it. And can I ask my higher power to like clear that out? Right. Cause that's like old stuff that's coming up, like probably totally unrelated to this specific situation, but just reminding me of old, like all the older stuff that had a similar, you know, root. And then also like, how do I actually want to feel? What do I want to be experiencing? And then doing my best to get back into that energy and not like, you know, realign with the energy of the intention. But it can be so hard when you first start, because your brain is so in control that literally to have that space to like tune in and like recalibrate, it's like there's very little space for it when you first start like learning how to turn it over. So I mean, what about you? Like, because I know you were having some things come up, but is your process similar, or what do you?
I was really enjoying listening to your process, because I love the fact that you're so vulnerable and being so open about the controller in you, because I know that there's a lot of people who I feel like there's like, I've always been kind of like the fancy free, it'll all work out kind of in the end type, like let the good times roll kind of person. Even though I do have a hint of control, I do get really actually controller when the more I realize this, even if I'm working on something, I can tend to be that way. I can tend to be that way. So I've given a lot of that up. So I'm answering your question too.
Yes.
Because I've given a lot of that up of late because life has shown me the lessons that have come through is that doesn't work, Michelle. Nobody wants that, Michelle. Like nobody wants you bossing them around. Nobody I don't want myself bossing me around. So it's like, I had my absolute best friend in the world, we were like this. And because of drugs and alcohol, and because of that narcissistic mind traits that come up with that.
Yeah.
I was a real life bitch, man. And it didn't work. It doesn't work. It serves no one to be trying to be in control that much. And it doesn't serve me either. And it takes the fun out of everything.
100%. Yes.
So now I really, I've had to go almost all the way to the side of just let it all naturally happen. Right. But so now that I've done enough of that and also done almost too much of that, now it's like, okay, it's time to like really have a harmonize this thing.
Harmonize. Ooh, I like that.
Really come together and that's where the divine feminine and the sacred mass. I'm realizing that, okay, I get to have processes. I get to have rituals. I get to have an altar. Yeah. I get to start my day off with the Lord's Prayer in gratitude to God and meditation. I get to be conscious on the outside, but at the same time, I still get to honor my creativity. I get to honor my spiritual way of being, because that's just who I am. Yet and to have the best, high definition experience on earth, that you get to have both,
So true. It's so true. Yeah, I think that's powerful. I mean, I think the space of really, it's interesting. And I think because so many people are caught in the grind, right? Like the perceived, like I have to create X, Y, and Z because I have to pay my bills, or I have my family counting on me, or, like whatever, insert your responsibility is.
Right.
It's so easy to just consistently stay in that space of just like go, go, go. And then, and that's often the space where we are triggered because we're frankly doing stuff that we don't really want to be doing. I mean, let's be honest, right? Like
we backed ourselves into a corner.
We've backed ourselves into a corner, or at least we perceive that we perceive that we're backed into a corner, and there's enough evidence that our egos can keep us in that space. So it really, in my experience, it really has taken that space and time to really allow like the pieces fall where they may. I'd be really interested, honestly, like I think this would be cool to ask like a lot of conscious creators that are really in the energy of creation with ease and flow. Like, was it necessary to have that space and time where things just like kind of like the pieces fell where they needed to fall?
Great idea.
Right. So that then you can gather up and like figure out like authentically, all right, like what am I actually supposed to be focused on right now? Because it's a totally different energy. But that space of like merging the two, because I've literally, like, as you said, you've been allowing yourself into this, like, like rolling with the energy and stuff. And like, how awesome is that? Like, I commend you, and that's beautiful. And that's been like a large part of this transformation, is like really allowing yourself this space to just like receive and surrender and like trust.
Yes.
And when it's time to start getting back in action, how awkward. I mean, that's really what this experience has been about today and this last week. It's like, when it is go time, how do you make some shit happen?
Right. Make some shift happen.
How do you make some shift happen, but still keep that like intentionality, getting things done, but really being in ease and flow? And I got to be honest, like I really have not mastered that.
Yeah, it's a work that that's still in price. So I feel like it's a work that never stops. You know, we talked about it, I had my big breakdown about it last week on the WhollyShift when you weren't there. I had a big meltdown, but it was really a realization that, yeah, it's real. It's real. It's a conscious effort. It's never going to be it's never going to be just happening, because
on autopilot.
There's no such thing as autopilot. That's not what we are. We're creators. So there's a constant creation happening. Even the creating the space to be, it's still a creation. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that just happens. It's not just something that you can just let to your old devices, because you know, we're still in a very big healing process. And that's what I was going to say too. Alexa, is that, you know, we are that, like, if I could also help anyone, if I can have anyone recognize or think about something when they're stepping into healing themselves and stepping into their own growth and expansion and creation of their life, is that it's the long game, bro. It's the long game. So there's really no rush. I mean, there's a phrase that Jeff Olson says that I love, that it's never too late to start, but it's always too late to wait. I love that. As a powerful phrase.
Yeah.
And he also says, which has also been a big one, that time, which this wraps us back up nicely as we're back
love it. Yeah.
Time will either promote you or expose you for who you really are.
Ooh, that's a little bite in it. Okay. I'm like, who's this Tom Olson guy? I don't know this person.
His name's Jeff Olson, and he wrote a book called The Slight Edge. It's one of the best books I've ever read.
What? Okay.
Yes.
That's a ping from the universe. Take that if that hits you in a way. Because anytime Michelle says something like that, I'm like, yeah, gotta check that out.
The Slight Edge. It's the concept. We talked about this too, Alexa, the other day when we were on the phone. This is something that you hit on the other day, that there's no such thing as being stagnant.
Oh, for sure.
And that's what he's talking about, the slight edge. You're either slightly going up, getting better, or you're slightly getting worse.
Or sometimes like really going up or really diving, you know, like, but it's never constant. No.
Right.
No, it's never constant, for sure.
You know, I love how you guys say the drift, you know, because that's what it makes me think of, the drift. You know, which way are you drifting? Because there's always a drift.
Drifting.
Which way are you drifting? How, you know?
Which way are you drifting? Yeah, it's so true. You know, it's interesting because I was, it may have been today or yesterday when I was meditating, I was like really in a space. Like my meditations have been getting so much deeper because it's like the mind is like, it's less and less and less control on the body. It's like taken over more and more. So it's like, okay, like this is what the quantum's about. It's about feeling your way into the moment. And then that connects you with like all the energies, right? So I haven't gotten to a place in my meditations where I'm seeing like my pineal gland is like totally open and I'm like having visions, interdimensional visions yet. But my body is so much more, my nervous, I think you have to really get your body to a place where your nervous system is open enough and able to like transmit that kind of energy, right? Like that kundalini.
At rest.
And rest. And yeah, I mean, it's like the whole organism has to be like harmonized, right? And attuned.
Yeah. Love it.
But I was noticing like it is interesting because it's like you get to this space where you're like, oh, this is so good. And like, okay, next time I meditate, like I should still be at this exact space, right? And it's never exactly the same. The experience is never exactly the same. And I was just reflecting on like, yeah, it's just like nature. Like, it's just like, everything is a biotic living thing. Like your internal experience is alive. Everything is part of this. Like, it's never going to be static. It's never like you hit first place and then you stay at first place forever. It's like constantly like the surf is never going to be the same again. It's like, you always have to adjust and like have the intention and like do your part. Like you got to swim out to the wave and then you catch the wave, and like some waves are bigger than others, and like that's the way it is internally as well, and with the emotions. And it's like you can still be practicing, like you get to practice. And I think, you know, your amplitude goes up and up and up, but still it's like it's this thing of like it's just like the weather, or just like the waves, or just like, you know, it's all a living, breathing organism. So like for us to think that like, hey, I'm just going to be able to do this, you know, XYZ this many times and then just have it set, like it's not a set it and forget it experience.
I love that you say that, because it's true, and because we get to recognize that we are a part of the energy of the universe. So for that reason, if no other reason, you know, we are connecting into a bigger energy. So sometimes that energy, you know, it's going to require more of us. It's going to require, you know, us to step out so that we can rest, so that's a big, and I think that as you're doing the work that you're doing, and I know and acknowledge you for all the work that you're doing to clean and clear the blockages, or anything that you're ready to heal, like all of it, like I don't care how many lifetimes back, clear this.
Nice.
You know what I mean? I'm ready to clear it all.
Yeah.
And I acknowledge you for that, you know, and because that's such an important, that is because not only do you want to do that for yourself, but you want to do that for, to help push us all forward. So, and I really do acknowledge you for that. It's a beautiful work. And, you know, our energies are going to always be in flux, because like you said, that's the nature of our universe.
It's all biotic, right? It's all biotic. It's living. It's like, you know, like it's
breathing.
It's alive.
It's breathing. It's everything's breathing. You know, it's a vibrational universe, and in every single way possible. Every atom everything's constantly moving. Like there is no standing still.
Nope. And that's so much of what this, you know, current structures that we've been living in the illusion of, right, as society. Like work hard, go to school, you know, like stack your money, have your, you know, like build the house, and it's like it's all like cookie cutter, like okay, and then things just work. It's a set it and forget it mentality, and like it's just like the world is too alive at this point. Like there's almost 8 billion people on the planet. That's way too much energy for people to just be like checking out and tuning out, you know. It's like
it's not working.
It's not working, and it's so much more exciting. And as you say, like in high def, like Technicolor, there's more available. And you know, like how fun and how ever evolving it is. Like it's never going to get boring if you're putting some time in. And maybe not everybody wants to be as like super focused as you and I. Like maybe it's somebody's as much of their passion, but like for sure doing some of the work is going to move you forward in much more powerful ways than forgetting, you know, pretending like you don't have to know about any of these things, because they're happening whether you're aware of them consciously or not.
Well, and you know, I just read a statistic today that every 40 seconds someone commits suicide. And so, you know, people are feeling a big contrast. And so, you know, we get to remind people like that there's an experience available for them. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, and like really for, you know, I think what you said, Michelle, is that like, yeah, it takes work, and that it's super rewarding work, especially the more time that you like, the more you go to the gym, the more muscles you build, and the more, you know, healthy and strong and powerful you feel. So it's the same way with like working this muscle of intention and consciousness and creativity and you know, like, you know, like developing yourself. It does get easier. And yeah, there's some dark nights of the soul, but like there's some dark nights of this life if you don't do this work.
I mean, you can't even see the sun. It's right outside. You're not stepping out there to get it. It's right there. You know what I mean? That's what that's what is holding us back. It's just not even recognizing what we have right in front of us and just being able to be, and I feel like, to wrap it up really, that this life we came to experience ourselves. We came to experience what it means to be who we are, each and every single person on earth. There's no exception to that. You were born from this earth. Jennifer Payor, she said that, and it was so beautiful when I heard her say that. You were born of this earth, not into it. We're all a part of it. So just as much as the bird has a right to fly, and just as much as the tree is growing and the grass is blooming or the wind is blowing, is who we are, just as much a part of it naturally. So but by showing up, by getting into your body and looking out of your eyes and looking at what's around you, it's amazing how incredible things happen. The beauty, the fun, the create, and this is just the being, and this is even just the vibrational, what they might call the spiritual nature of life is so loud when you take the time to just sit still and be present. You know what I mean? And that's what's available for all of us. And that's all it takes. It's free. Free 99. No, it's free. It is literally free for you to just sit still and to feel your feelings, to breathe, take a deep breath in and deep breath out, and not do shit, but just sit there. And it's almost too much to bear. Sometimes it can feel like too much to bear, but if that's how you're feeling, you're starting to get a glimpse of, first of all, if it's too much to bear, absolutely talk to medical professionals, things like that. Talk to medical professionals, talk to counselors, and then take the time to plug into people like, plug into the WhollyShift, where we talk about stuff like this, and it's okay to do it. We watch YouTube all day long. It's free. If you have the internet, there's so much information for you to learn more about yourself. Yeah. And to learn more about this life experience in the universe, because that's the work. The work is simply just learning what we weren't taught. Yeah. And now we're in the information age. We couldn't have been born at a better time to do it.
We couldn't.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah. So many opportunities. So beautiful. Thank you all for tuning in. We will be back here coming again live, 5:30 Mountain, 7:30 Eastern. We're going to have another very vibrant topic next week. We may have a special guest.
I think hustle and flow might be a good one.
I like a hustle and flow. I think that's great.
I'm wearing the hustle, but we didn't really, because there is a harmony involved, the hustle and flow. That's kind of what we're talking about. So I think that would flow right into.
Let's do that. And I think I'll have some breakthroughs around that this week.
Let's do it.
I'm declaring on this WhollyShift for next week. I will have had some very powerful breakthroughs to share with y'all. And absolutely. So hustle and flow. Join us. Subscribe. When you subscribe, it will go ahead and notify you when we're coming live. And let's grow this Conscious Creators organization here, this Conscious Creators tribe. We love you. Thanks for being here. Thank you, Michelle. Beautiful.
I love you.
Love you so much.
I can do the 5-minute. If it wasn't for you, no, I'm just kidding. I won't do that. But I love you so much.
Oh, I love you so much too.
Thank you.